Check the description for the following discount codes. Like a lot of you out there, I've got the trusty Fanatec shifter, and I love an H-pattern shifter. As some of you will know, it's pretty much the only way I shift. Just find it more fun, more engaging. I know it's slower, but I'm not going to break any world records anyway, so I don't care. Anyway, a lot of us have got this shifter. A lot of us have had the same problem as me, which is it will start mis-shifting all of its own accord. So you'll put it in third and it will go into first, or you'll put it in fourth and it will go into second, or maybe you'll go up into first and you find yourself in reverse, blowing up your engine and smashing your gearbox to pieces. So this obviously is not something that we want. And there's lots of been speculation online over the years about what happens here. Some people say you need to put a piece of tape between one of the PCBs and like the metal inside, because Fanatec put a piece of tape on the other board and people were like, well, you need to put one on this other one as well, because otherwise you can potentially get shorts and what have you. Well, that doesn't make any difference, because I had this happen probably over a year ago and I tried that and didn't make any difference. And then it magically just, through me just taking it apart and putting it back together, it just seemed to fix itself. So I don't know whether I touched something, or I mean, I know I touched something, I know I moved something. I had the little PCBs off for the Hall effect sensors and it just seemed to work. So I don't really know what happened, but I had this start happening again when I fitted my DD1 wheelbase. You can just about see there. And I was like, oh, what the hell was going on? You know, I wanted to be able to plug this shifter into the DD1 wheelbase and save myself a USB port. And it was just missing shifts occasionally. Most noticeably going from first into reverse instead of first. And I was like, this is annoying. So then I went and plugged it in via the USB adapter instead. And that seemed to instantly cure it. So I thought, well, maybe I've got some noise, electrical noise coming from my DD1, you know, maybe passing the shifter through that, it's just picking it up. Not a problem with the DD1, it's, you know, it's a known issue with these shifters that they just seem to miss shifts from time to time, and I don't think anyone really knows why. But anyway, I went to the USB adapter, that seemed to cure it for a couple of weeks. And then it started missing shifts again. And I was getting really frustrated. You know, there I am doing well in a staging dirt rally, and all of a sudden I'm slamming it into reverse as I enter a hairpin instead of going into first. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I've used the USB adapter. I've got nothing left to try. You know, it's got its own dedicated USB port on the PC, albeit the PC is, I don't know, 4 meters away. Tried it to make any difference. Anyway, I thought, do you know what, Cole? Take it apart and have a look inside, because perhaps there's something obvious that's just not right or that's wrong. You know, I don't know. Anyway, to take it apart, there's 4 Allen keys on the top here, and you just need a 3mm Allen key to undo those. Once you've done that, you lift it up a couple of inches and there's a 2-pin plug that is held in place by some hot glue. You need a small flat-headed screwdriver just to pick the hot glue off and then pop this little 2-pin plug out. It goes to the micro switch at the bottom of the unit that switches when you flick it over from sequential to H pattern, so that the computer knows you've made that physical change. So once you've unplugged that, this just lifts out. Now I'll take it out in a minute and we'll do a close-up over there on the desk. But I'll tell you just very quickly what I did. I thought to myself, maybe the PCBs have got some dirt on them, or some light corrosion, or just, you know, I was really clutching at straws here. But I had some IPA, some isopropyl alcohol, and a brush, toothbrush will do. So all I did was take it apart, dip this brush in here so it was wet with isopropyl, and just give each PCB a good clean. Now, to look at, they were perfectly clean anyway. So I just thought, well, I've got it out, I'm just going to do it regardless. You know, maybe there's some micro corrosion that's too small for me to see, but it's just causing a light contact somewhere where there shouldn't be, or something. But you know, I thought, I've got it out, I'm just going to do it. There was no other visible dirt inside, no dust, no fluff, no anything. Everything looked brand new, you know. The grease was on the parts that were greased. The magnets hadn't moved out of place. Everything looked as it should do. But all I did was give it a clean up with this, put it back together, and it has now worked perfectly ever since. This was probably 2 weeks ago now. And not only does it work perfectly ever since, it's worked perfectly plugged into the DD1 via just the RJ12 cable, and I've not had to use the USB adapter, which is why it's just laying on the floor there. Now, I don't really know why this has worked. You know, I could only speculate that maybe there was something small on that board, atmospheric corrosion that I just couldn't see that's been cleaned off. I honestly don't know. But for me, it has fixed it. It's been good for 2 weeks. I've used it quite a bit because I've just been curious, like, is it really fixed? Every time I turn it on, I'm like, is it going to work? Am I going to go into the right gear? And it's been fine. So for the sake of a 3mm Allen key and a screwdriver, some isopropyl and a brush, I mean, I'm trying to think what else you could use. Maybe contact cleaner, perhaps, instead of isopropyl. But even just giving the bloody boards a brush. I honestly don't know why it's fixed it, but it's fixed it. So for the sake of the 15 minutes it takes to do it, if you've got this issue and it's frustrating you like it did me, you may as well do it. So what I want to do, I'll move the camera and get a close-up of me just unscrewing this and lifting it out so you can see how to do it, and I'll show you what boards I cleaned, and I'll also show you how to then calibrate it in the software on your PC, because you will need to recalibrate it if you've taken it apart, especially if you actually unscrew the boards and take them off like I did. They ain't going to be sitting back in exactly the same place. So I'll show you how to do all that once I move the camera around. Yeah, so we've just got these 4 Allen keys to undo here. I suppose I should probably pop the RJ12 out as well, because that is attached to the top half, which lifts up. So 4 3mm Allen keys, Allen bolts, whatever you want to call them. Allen key is what I'm using to undo the Allen bolts. Yes, it's just been, it is weird why the first time I had this problem I took it apart and it fixed itself, because I don't even think I cleaned it with isopropyl at the time. No, I didn't have any. And it fixed itself, but this time around that's what I've done. So for the time it's taken me to undo that, look, and now you can lift this. So here's the 2-pin are you going to be able to see that? Yeah, you can. This is the 2-pin plug here that needs to be undone, and obviously there was hot glue on it, but mine's come out once, so there isn't any. You can then, using a flat-headed screwdriver, or even perhaps just my fingers now, wiggle it out or push it out from there. And once that's free, there we go, you can then just lift this up and out. Now I may as well just show you what I did from this angle, mightn't I? Where's my toothbrush? Well, it's not actually my toothbrush, but you know what I mean. So this board here, I did actually undo, I think these are 1.5mm Allen keys there and there, and there's 4 for this board as well, although you have to remove this to be able to get to the Allen bolts for this one, again, which is 2 more Allen bolts there. I think they're 2mm perhaps. It might be 1mm and 2mm and 3mm, or it might be 1.5 and 2mm, I can't remember, but you'll soon know. Just get yourself a set of Allen keys. Anyway, I removed both boards, and as I say, I dipped this brush in the top of my isopropyl, and I literally just scrubbed them, cleaned the connections. I haven't even undone any of these other plugs because they're all glued in as well. So it's not like I've unplugged and plugged those in and maybe that's removed oxidation, because I didn't do it. And there isn't anything else, you know, to do on here. This is the whole circuit board, literally from your RJ12 plug into this board, then this board into this board, and of course that little plug there, which is just here, goes down to your micro switch at the bottom. So that is all I did, and put it back together, and it's worked flawlessly ever since, which has been about 2 weeks now. So I'm really happy with that. As I say, I can't tell you exactly why it works. You know, maybe there was some small oxidation on there that got cleaned off, or a speck of dirt or something just in the wrong place. I honestly don't know, but that's all I had to do to get it to work. And obviously the calibration process, which I'll show you in a second, but you just, you know, plug the white plug back in, put your 4 Allen keys back in and nip them up, not too tight, you know, don't need to be mega tight, and then we'll get to the calibration. So yeah, I'll just do these up and I'll see you in a sec at the desk. Oh no, I better do it here actually, because I need to be able to reach the shifter. Yeah, see you in a sec. Yeah, so screen capture. Yep, we're good. Right, so click start, type game, and you'll see Xbox game bar or set up USB game controllers. We want set up USB game controllers. Oh, actually, could also do with turning my bloody DD1 on. Let's find that hidden button. Here it is. Because obviously it's plugged in through the DD1, so I need to have that on, otherwise it won't show up. As you can see, right, so it's just appeared here. Podium wheelbase DD1, it appears twice. I don't actually know why it appears twice. Maybe it's because the pedals and the shifter are going through it, no idea. But if we double click on one of those, they both bring up the same thing. If I double click on the second one, exactly the same. Anyway, bottom right hand corner here, you'll see our shifter representation. And as you go through the gears, I mean, these are showing up correct. Well, actually, I suppose I didn't actually just move anything inside when we took it apart, did I? So it should still be right. But yeah, you can check here that it's going into the right gears, which mine still is, as you can see. But if you've actually moved your boards inside, you want to then go up to settings. In fact, you should just do this anyway if you've had it apart to clean it, just in case something's moved ever so slightly. And then click here where it says 8 shifter calibration, and then just do what it says. Position gear to neutral and click next, reverse, next. Although, what's going on there? Oh yeah, it did get it. First gear, that was weird, wasn't it? Second gear, third gear, fourth gear. Oh yeah, same thing again. And if I move the mouse cursor, it's almost like my mouse hasn't let go. Weird, maybe it's this hooky wireless keyboard mouse thing I'm using. What are we up to now? Fifth. Yeah, same thing again. Move it. How strange. Sixth. And then finally, seventh. Yeah, and it says shifter calibrated. So aside from my funky wireless keyboard and mouse combo, not wanting to unclick the left click, you saw that was pretty simple. So now we can go back to the function tests, again, top left, and just go through your gears again and make sure they're all registering as they should. Now for me, when this was going wrong, I reckon every 4th shift would go wrong. And it would never go from like 3rd. So if I put it in 3rd, it would never show any of the bottom row of gears. It wouldn't go into like 4th or 2nd or 6th. It would just always go either into, you know, up into 5th or down into 1st. Or if I was going into 1st, it might go across into reverse and things like that. And the same applies for the lower gears. I might put it into 4th and it would actually show I'd gone into 2nd or possibly 6th, but usually 2nd. So as you can see, it's all going into all the correct gears exactly as it should. And that's the whole process done. You know, it takes maybe 15 minutes. And for me, it's worked flawlessly ever since. As I say, I don't know why cleaning it with isopropyl has helped, or whether just the act of removing the PCBs and putting them back on, because I had them both off. In theory, it shouldn't make any difference, just moving things around, you know, but it has. So if you've got this issue, don't be afraid to grab a 3mm Allen key and a flathead screwdriver, some isopropyl and a toothbrush, and just whiz it apart and just do what I showed you, because these are pricey shifters. I can't quite remember what it costs now, £250, something like that. And if that's all your problem is, and it's as easily fixed as what mine was, it's well worth doing. Anyway, I hope that's been of help to some people. As always, thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.